Polls are closed in Georgia. We await results.
Oh, my God.
The special congressional election in the 6th district is supposed to be a referendum on Trump. The Democratic choice, Jon Ossoff, rolled in the cash. It was impressive until you realize donations came from 7,000 Californians and only 800 from his own district. And that tells you who's behind him. People who don't even live there, just like Ossoff. Celebrities like Alyssa Milano, Chelsea Handler, George Takei, they're all over this election. So as the media obsesses over Putin's failed meddling in our elections, how is this not similar? Here you have one state meddling in another. How is California not Russia and Georgia not America? The only difference are the celebrities who are way more obnoxious than Putin. I get it. California and Georgia, they're in the same country. But still, you have aristocratic outsiders instructing the rubes on how to vote, undermining an election thousands of miles away. Talk about interference, obstruction. So why would these interlopers do that? It's an emotional thing. The Trump election was humiliating. It was painful. So this election offers celebrities their psychotherapy. They're using the district as a giant Valium to soothe their bruised egos. Now, that emotion is missing on the other side. Here's why. If you ask Trump voters in October, what would you prefer? To win the election with Trump and lose a seat in Georgia, or lose to Hillary and still have that seat? I think you know the answer. So no matter what happens tonight, who wins or loses, it's only because of Donald Trump winning. That still has to hurt, and we'll still need more therapy. All right, you got Hollywood, California rich liberals, Jesse, and also New York millionaires from the East colluding to steal an election.
Oh, my God.
So you're saying the carpetbagger is colluding with San Francisco to hack Georgia's democracy.
Exactly.
This is exactly what happened. This guy's a puppet. He parachutes in with daddy's money. He's obviously a carpetbagger. He's handsome. He's got a nice head of hair, but he's a Pelosi Democrat. He's for the Iran dealers, for Obamacare, but, you know, he hangs out with lobbyists in his spare time. His business did deals with Al Jazeera. He gets a lot of his money from Hollywood, a lot of it from the Bay Area, barely any of it from Georgia. So, you know, the Democrats said they want money out of politics, but they're literally buying a congressional district.
Right.
Listen, this is not necessarily Trump country here. He only won the district by 1%. Romney won it by 23%. I don't think a special election...
Jesse, you're on TV right now at Karen Handel. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think a special election is going to determine who's going to win the midterm elections, but as of now, Democrats 0-4 in special elections. They need this tonight, and results so far, it's not looking good.
Yeah, you know, but it is tight. Some show her up, some show her down. Kimberly, this is pure collusion to subvert an election. I'm going to keep saying it.
And there's actual facts to prove it. That's the thing. And, yeah, look, when you think about it, you know, I used to live in San Francisco, probably benefited from some of those election dollars when, you know, Mike was running for office there. But why are the people from San Francisco and California dumping all this money trying to buy a seat? Can you imagine if it was the other way around?
Yeah, sure.
And how about the fact that he doesn't even live in his district?
I know.
How about that?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours to walk, you know, somebody timed it. So
he has Uber, though, Kimberly.
Is that what it is? From the lobbyists back home. The problem is that people need to care about something like this, to say we don't want someone who doesn't even live in the district, doesn't, you know, represent us, just coming in to take a seat for no reason. To me, that doesn't make any sense that he could be as successful, I guess, as he's doing in the polling up until this point, when the guy, they just kind of picked him out of obscurity with very little background whatsoever and said, you'll do.
Yeah, just like a few other people I know, Juan. Doesn't this smack of a bunch of elitists putting their noses in other people's lives, Mr. Williams?
No. I was curious.
Next question.
I was curious about what you said because it struck me. Wait a minute. The Supreme Court has said you can give money, and that's free speech. And you have a situation here where you have foreign money, hacking, buying U.S. officials, inviting charges of treason, or people who are, you know, not faithful to the American flag.
Are you referring to Hillary with the buying the election?
No, I'm saying that's what it's at stake. And you say that's like Californians putting money into a Georgia race.
97% of the money from outside the district.
Yeah, well, it seems to me that there's one situation where you have people who are concerned about undermining sanctions against Russia, trying to weaken Americans' resolve. That's very different than the Hollywood elite saying that, hey, this is a very red district, and we think it's time to use it as a stage to show that there's opposition to Trump.
I think you actually agreed with me in the sense that you just admitted it's a red district being invaded by blue people, Dana. The blue are invading the red. Okay, let's say they raise enough money and they win here. Are they going to, if they do this in every election, say in 2018, get a bunch of celebrity millionaires, right? You could get like 10 millionaires, put all their money, and they could just win all the elections, and the whole country could be run by left-wing millionaires.
That'd be a lot of money.
It would be a couple billion, I think.
And it would bankrupt them, so then would that be beneficial?
I don't know.
So if Juan were thinking in Juan's way, Juan might have said, how is this any different than what happened in the Scott Brown special election when he was New Hampshire, but really running in Massachusetts, and then all that national money went into that special election, and the whole issue was about Obamacare.
Yes.
It was about who will, and this election, actually, this special tonight, Obamacare or the replacement of it really became a big issue. The interesting thing for this also is that the Congressional Leadership Fund, which is like the outside money group for Republicans that Paul Ryan runs, they've dumped a whole bunch of money into there, and that's not coming from Georgia either. The other problem for Democrats is that while these suburbs, that they had to, part of the reason is, too, the Democrats had one person that they wanted to have as their sacrificial lamb in this, and that was Ossoff, and then he actually did fairly well out of that. The Republicans in the primary for this one special election had 15 candidates.
Yeah.
So that's why he actually got all of that attention, because remember 3 months ago, there was the special to see if he would go in. The demographics are changing in these suburban districts, and so that's why you see, if you look at the map, President Trump's electoral map, the beautiful map, it's red almost all across the country because that's the rural areas. Suburban America is changing a little bit. So in the long run, I don't think there's a lot of election lessons to be learned out of this special, but in the long run, the Democrats and the Republicans are going to be fighting over those people. But putting somebody like Ossoff up, it surprises me that they give him so much money because they care so little about principle, because these people in California were Bernie Sanders supporters. Yeah. And he's actually a very conservative Democrat. Basically, he's running as a Republican.
Yeah, but he'll change.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
but he's not going to win. She's going to win by a hair.
Are you sure? Do you think so?
I think she will win by a hair, maybe a little more.
Well, I'll be laughing my ass off.
But you know whose district this
That'll
is,
take a while.
Hey. Let's not get personal.
No fat shaming.
Oh, my God.
Bannon taught me everything I know, yeah.
You know whose district this is in the fictional world? This is Frank Underwood's district.
Oh, interesting.
It is. And what Dana was saying about the diversity of district is really striking me, because it's not only that it's becoming more diverse, larger Hispanic population more so than black, but it's the most educated district in the country that's been a Republican district. That's 56% college educated. Most. So this is the reason the Democrats want this is they see an opportunity to peel away some of the Republicans who are anti-Trump, concerned about the health care bill and the like, but specifically because upper educated whites, suburban whites, are the targets for Democrats from here on out heading towards 2018.
Well, I just got what the South Carolinas went to the Republicans.
Norman, that just came in.
Ralph Norman?
Results. Yep.
It's great to hear the name Ralph.
You like that name?
Yeah, you don't hear it much anymore.
Ralph Norman, like a guy with 2 first names going to Congress.
Yeah, yes. I want to roll. This is some interesting tape from a debate between Karen Handel and John Ossoff about where he lives.
What I would like to know is exactly who are you going to vote for in this election?
Is that the question? Okay. Well, I think Secretary Handel is referring to my residence, which is a matter that I've addressed transparently throughout this campaign. I grew up in the 6th Congressional District. I was born and raised in Georgia, unlike Secretary Handel, who was born and raised in Washington, D.C.
Is he old enough to run for Congress? I mean,
did somebody card
like
him?
My son. Seriously. Yeah, I mean, what's the guy lives a 2-hour walk away? I think he's living at his dad's house or something like that, but then he got engaged to a woman in the district right when he started running. I mean, speak about Frank Underwood. Who knows what's really going on?
Oh, you're terrible.
I'm sure they're very much in love, but it's the whole thing is kind of strange. I mean, what's with these Democrats and these residency issues?
You know, John Lott wrote a piece for FoxNews.com today, and he makes a great point that as government expands, there's more at stake. So we all
these are all national.
Yeah, so now everything's a national election. They'll pour $30 million for one congressional seat in Georgia because government has invaded all of our lives. Government is taking over health care. So that makes people want to vote for more government or vote for a liberal. So it's now changing.
And that's why I think that the House Republicans don't have a lot to worry about for 2018. I actually think that they will be able to keep the House. And I'm going to make a prediction here that you guys might have to hold me to next year. I think that the way the Senate map is for the 2018 elections, I believe that the Senate Republicans will actually pick up a seat or two.
Wow.
And they're not going to lose, they're not going to backtrack.
Wow.
And partly that's because if you look at a state like Missouri, President Trump has great support in Missouri.
Yeah.
And Claire McCaskill, the Democrat senator, she's running for re-election. She got very close to Hillary Clinton. Trump's voters are very engaged, and I think that she'll have a hard time.
I'm just proud if she wins tonight. She didn't even body slam a reporter.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very big accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a lesson that we could all learn.
You know, Price won this district. Price won this district last time. 62% of the vote, right? I think Handel is, you know, you guys are saying Handel's looking good right now, right?
Right now.
It's tight.
But it's tight,
but
the idea is she's going to, let's say she wins by 1 or 2 or loses by 1 or 2, but there's going to be all of this great hee-haw about it, but the fact is...
Oh, no, if she loses, we'll never talk about it again.
What do you mean by hee-haw?
Oh, just because it's South, you have to bring up hee-haw?
Yes, that's exactly right. But the Democrats are going to make a big deal if Ossoff wins, and the Republicans if Handel wins. And I actually...
I don't know. Could you imagine if Hollywood liberals cared as much about national security or job growth or the economy as they do about cybersecurity as they do about a seat in Georgia? Something to think about.
They must have money to burn.
I think they do, or they need a hobby. I guess, you know.
They have a lot of money in San Francisco.
All right.